Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I think I'm just going to roll some dice and have whoever rolls highest fight against whoever rolls lowest. So I've got 4 dice here. Alright, so it's going to be Vega versus Sea Viper first. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of expedited matches. We're just going to do to 20 health instead of the usual 30. Alright, so we flip to see who goes first. Alright, so it's going to be Sea Viper has the initiative. Alright, so Sea Viper's going to discard some stuff first, I think. She's going to mulligan. I think we'll mulligan these two. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to draw 2 more. I think she's going to apply this continuous boost. Alright, and then she gets to strike. So let's see. Okay, I think she'll go ahead and wild strike. Okay, so she got to dive. Okay, so we compare the speeds. So there is 6 speed on dive, 3 speed on the flying Barcelona attack. So Sea Viper is going to go first. She's going to move 1, 2, and let's see, there's no guard. Vega's attack. So he's just going to hit full. Alright, so Vega is going to take 5 damage. So he's down to... Alright, so this just gets discarded because it didn't get to go off because he got stunned. This is discarded, and then Sea Viper has 1 gauge. Alright, so the turn goes to Vega. Vega's going to play cross. Sea Viper's going to respond with focus. So the speed is way different here, 6 to 1. So obviously cross is going to go through first. So Vega's going to do 3 damage to Sea Viper. So she's down to 7. So Sea Viper had armor, so she prevented 2 of the damage, and she has guard. They retreats to the edge of the arena. And then Sea Viper's card, unfortunately, doesn't go off. There's no hit, so she's just going to get the after effect of drawing a card. Alright, focus gets discarded. Cross is going to go into Vega's gauge. And then, okay, Sea Viper is going to play a continuous boost. This blasting, she'll discard a cross to be able to power it. And then after resolving the continuous boost, she's now going to strike. She's going to set an attack, and we'll see how Vega responds. Vega's going to spend a gauge for the critical, so it's +2 power, and then he has +2 power here. That is 4 power, and he has a before effect. So he's got 3 speed, then Sea Viper's got 5 speed. So unfortunately hers is going to go first. She does have a continuous boost in play, so she's going to get +2, +3 power, that's 6 power, with a range of 2 to 3. So 6 power. So Vega's going to take 6 damage. Ooh, he's down to 9. Okay, and then his attack is not going to go off, so it's just going to get discarded. Sea Viper is going to put this in her gauge. This one gets discarded. Okay, and then it's going to go back to Vega. So he is dangerous because he's at the edge of the arena. He gets that +2 power, he just has to have something actually land. I think he's going to set an attack. Okay, so everything gets revealed. We have a EX sweep from Vega with 3 speed, and then a spike with 3 speed. So Vega has the advantage. He's going to get to go first. So that is a range of 1 to 3 and 7 damage because it's an EX attack. So Viper's going to take 7 damage. She has 4 guard, and unfortunately her attack is going to get negated. So she's down to 12 health. This gets discarded. She also has to discard a card at random, and then Vega gets to store 1 of those in this gauge. Oh, and +2 power, she actually takes 2 additional damage because he's at the edge of the arena. Ouch, okay, so it's going to be Viper's turn. She has 1 card left. She's going to prepare, so she'll draw 2. Then it goes back to Vega. So he's feeling like he's in a better position now. Alright, so Vega's going to play the high jump for its ability. He gets to move 3. If he moves past the opponent, this card goes into his gauge, and then he's going to draw a card for the end of his turn. Okay, turn goes back to Viper. Alright, Viper's going to set an attack. Let's see how Vega responds. So Viper is going to discard for the critical. Okay, so comparing speed. 4 speed versus 2. So Temple Massage is going to happen first. She has 4 power. So he's going to take 4 damage. down to 5 health for Vega. And because she hit, she gets to draw 3 cards. And on hit, she's going to be able to pay 4 force if she wants, and then gain +1 power for each one. Okay, she's going to pay 3 force to add 3 additional damage. So he's down to 2 health. This attack does not go off, so it's going to get discarded. This was good, so it'll go into her gauge. Then it's going to be Vega's turn. So he needs to do some big damage, like quickly. Vega's going to play a boost, this defend boost. So he'll draw a card. And it's going to go back to Viper's turn. She's going to lay down an EX attack. Alright, so revealing the attacks. Oh, of course, Vega is definitely going to spend critical to be able to get the speed. So now it's 6 speed, unfortunately, versus 8. The grasp is really fast, and that will be 4 damage. So he's going to take still 3 damage, even though he's got 1 armor, and that is enough to take him out. So Vega unfortunately lost this match. He put a pretty decent effort in, but just had a hard time getting attacks off. Right, that was Vega. He is now out. Okay, Sea Viper is going to fight the winner between Chun-Li and Dan. Alright, so let's see who's going first. 7 speed's going to put Dan as the player with advantage. Alright, Dan is just going to prep, so he'll draw 2. And then it's going to go to Chun-Li. So Chun-Li's going to set an attack, so they're going to both reveal. Alright, we have Spinning Bird Kick with 5 speed because she's doing an EX attack. And then we have Godoken, which is going to be 4 speed. Alright, so Spinning Bird Kick is going to go first. Before, she will advance 3. 1, 2, 3, right next to Dan. And then she's hitting for 6 damage because it's an EX attack. Dan is down to 14. She has 5 guard and 1 armor. Dan's attack won't go off because he's stunned. So one of those will go into Chun-Li's gauge. Now we're going to switch over to Dan. Now he's definitely got some stuff in range. Okay, Dan's setting an attack. Okay, they're going to reveal their cards. And we have 7 speed with the grasp versus 5 with the assault. Okay, so grasp is going to go first. 3 damage to Chun-Li, so she's going to take 3 down to 7. And then on hit, he gets to move his opponent up to 2 spaces. He's going to move her 1 space. And then the assault will not go off because she's stunned. Okay, 1 into Dan's gauge. Now it's going to be Chun-Li's turn. Okay, Chun-Li's going to put this fierce boost on her. She gets +2 power for her next attack. And then she's going to draw a card. So it's back to Dan. Alright, Dan's going to spend 1 critical on this one. Chun-Li is also going to pay 1 card in order to use the critical ability. Then they reveal. Alright, so unfortunately the flipping axe kick is 5 speed. They're actually going to be the same speed, 5 and 5. But Dan gets priority because he has the advantage. So his attack's going to go off first. So he closes 2, or as much as he can. And then he's going to deal 5 damage to Chun-Li. So she is going to be down to 9. And he gains advantage. And she is unfortunately stunned. So these are going to go into his gauge. And then he keeps advantage because of the last card. So Dan is on a roll. He is like killing it right now. Okay, Dan's going to set an attack. Okay, they reveal. So we have a sweep with 2 speed versus a dive with 4 speed. Alright, so the dive goes first. She's going to advance 3. No attacks can hit her this round, which is pretty good because the sweep has 3 range and 6 power. But she gets to avoid getting hit by that. So both of their attacks don't go off though. Alright, now it's going to go back to Chun-Li's turn. Okay, alright, and they both picked Spike. So Chun-Li's gets priority because she has advantage. So it's 5 damage to Dan. Alright, so Spike is going to go into her gauge and loses out on that one. Then it's going to go back to Dan. Okay, Dan's going to prepare, just drawing 2 cards. Then it's on to Chun-Li's turn. Alright, she's going to set an attack. All right, they both set attacks. Okay, Dan has the Godoken with 4. Chun-Li has dive with 4. She's going to get priority, so she's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. And now no attacks can hit her. And then she's going to deal 5 damage to Dan. So he's down. So 5 damage to Dan's going to take him down to 7. Going to go into Chun-Li's gauge. That's going to get discarded. And then it's going to be Dan's turn. Chun-Li will spend 1 gauge in order to use the critical ability. Then they reveal. Okay, so we have Dan with 7 speed and Chun-Li with... Dan's going to get to go first. So he has a range of 1 with power 2, but he's going to have this hit ability where he discards up to 3 cards at random. So we're just going to discard these 3. Oh, okay. So we lost the super attack. But for each card discarded, pull 1 and gain +1 power. 5 damage to Chun-Li, so she's down to 4. And then she gets pulled 1, 2, 3 spaces. And she's going to be stunned. Okay, so this is going to go into Dan's gauge. This head stomp gets discarded. Then it's going to go back to Chun-Li. Chun-Li is going to prepare, drawing 2 cards. It's going to go back to Dan. Dan will also prepare, drawing 2. Back to Chun-Li. Chun-Li will set an attack. Alright, now they reveal. So Dan has the dive with 4. Chun-Li has the sweep with 2, so Dan's going to go first. Alright, so the dive is going to go up first. He's going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So he's going to swap with Chun-Li. That's 5 damage. And she has no armor. So Chun-Li is out. Okay, let's see who goes first. Alright, so Dan's going to go first. She'll for sure discard that one. And he will for sure discard this one. Okay, so this is a really good opportunity, I think, to use this Dan Kukyaku. So Dan will set the attack. Alright, both attacks set. Let's see who goes first. Okay, so Dan Kukyaku is going to go first with the 6 speed and then dive. Alright, so has him advance 3. And then a 6 speed attack. So he's going to deal 3 damage to Viper. So she's down to 17. And after, place a card from your hand on top of your deck. Oh, okay. I see. He'll throw that top back up there. Alright, so this does not have a guard of any kind, so Sea Viper's going to discard that. This is going to go into Dan's gauge. Then it's going to be Sea Viper's. Okay, she'll throw this seismic hammer with blasting boost on the bottom of it. She's going... Alright, we reveal. See, 7 speed versus 3. So Dan's attack's going to go first. Okay, he's going to discard 2 cards. Discard these 2. Okay, the dive and the Godoken. So that's going to let him do +2 damage. So that's 4 damage to Viper. So she's down 2. And he gets to pull her 2 spaces. So 1, she has like 11 guards, so she's fine. She's going to do 7 damage to Dan. 8 damage. Okay, 8 damage to Dan. So he's down to 12. And then he has to discard a card at random, but she only has 1 card left, so there goes the sweep. Alright, Sea Viper is going to hold on to that. And then Dan's going to hold on to that. Alright, so this gets discarded. Advantage goes back to Dan. He has to draw. He literally can't do anything else right now. Well, he could Wild Swing, but I think he wants to gain some cards back. Sea Viper is going to also prepare. Then it's back to Dan. He'll do a Wild Swing, actually. He's going to do Wild Swing so he can use the critical ability. And Sea Viper will respond. Okay, they're going to do the whole spike again thing. So everyone's doing spikes. But Dan has the advantage because he also has the critical with +1 speed. So his is going to go first. Viper's is going to go second. but she's not even going to get it off, to be honest. He's going to deal 6 damage because of his critical ability. So she's down to 6. All right, so Dan's going to throw that into the gauge. And then it's going to go back to Viper. Okay, Viper's going to set an attack and spend the gauge for it. And then Dan's going to do a wild strike himself. Wild swing. He's going to discard a card and just see what happens. All right, Godoken. All right, so they both reveal. We have Burning Kick with 5 speed. And then we have Godoken with technically 5 because it's a wild swing. So Burning Kick is going to go first. She did spend the critical, so Dan's going to have -2 power, and she's going to gain advantage. All right, so it is 2 to 3 range with 4 power. So he's going to take 4, he's down to 2. And then after she closes 1. Okay, and then Dan, his attack does not go off, so it's going to get discarded. Burning Kick is going to go into her gauge, and she has advantage, so she's going to go again. All right, Viper's going to lay an attack. All right, so they both reveal. Okay, Dan played the block, and then the cross. So cross is going to be the only one going off. 6 speed, 3 power. He's got 2 armor, so he will pay a force to be able to get rid of that last bit of damage. And then she's going to move back 3 spaces. She's going to go into the gauge, and it's going to go into the gauge too, I think. All right, it's going to go back to Dan. Can't believe he's still alive, to be honest. He will draw 2 to prepare. Let me go back to Viper. She will prepare. Dan's going to go ahead and put this defend boost into play and then draw 1. Might as well prepare for the next attack because he's so close to death. Okay, Viper's going to play the boost effect, this hidden weapons. She'll discard a focus to draw 2 cards. And then this gets added to her gauge. Okay, back to Dan. Okay, Dan's going to set an attack. All right, now they reveal. All right, so Viper played the block. Then Dan played the legendary taunt. So he's going to pay 2 gauge. And then his attack's going to go off first. He advances up to 3. Then he gets to draw a card. And then play a card from his hand. Okay, he's going to play the sweep. So that's going to be 6 power. Viper is going to be able to just withstand all of that, though. She's already got 2 armor, so it's only going to be doing 4 more damage. She just needs to discard 2 cards. She'll discard a block. I think this focus as well. She'll discard the seismic hammer, actually. She completely negates all the damage. I think this one goes into the gauge. That's just discarded. All right, so it's going to go back to Viper's turn. I think, yeah, she'll go ahead and power up. She's going to exceed for 3. A card. He's in trouble. He has not a whole lot going on right now. All right, he'll set an attack. So they both reveal. And we have a cross with 6 speed from Dan versus the assault with 5 speed from Viper. All right, Dan's attack gets to go off first. So he's going to do 3 damage to Viper. She's down to 10. And her attack will not go off. Alright, it's going to go back to Viper's turn, and she's got a lot of stuff in her hand. She has the biggest hand. Alright, Viper's going to play Temple Massage, the cheater portion of the card, to gain a continuous boost from the discard. Alright, she's going to add the light boost on her character, and then she gets to play a card. Alright, she's playing an EX attack. Then it's up to Dan. He'll pay 1 gauge, so he can use the critical ability on his wild swing. Wild swung into a block. So, see, we have Thunder Knuckle EX. That is 6, 7, that's 8 speed, 4 damage, ignore guard. You can pay 2 force with this super attack. So he blocks all the damage, somehow surviving again. Yeah, okay. She still hit though, so she still gets the gauge. These get discarded though. That's gonna go back to Dan. He has to draw. Oh no, he'll wild swing. He's gonna discard a card to wild swing. She will discard one of her gauge to use the critical ability. And Dan also has the critical ability activated. Okay, so it's going to be 7 speed or 8 speed with Dan's grasp versus the 4 speed from the temple massage. So grasp is going to go first. It's going to be 4 damage to Viper. Wow, she's down to 6. And then he gets to move her 1 or 2 spaces. So he's going to move her 2 this way. All right, her attack has no guard on it, so it's going to get discarded. And gets to add that to his gauge. It's going to be back to Viper's turn. She can't believe it, honestly. Like, this should be over. Dan's been at 2 health forever. Okay, she's going to play a continuous boost with Fierce. It's going to give her +2 power, and then she will attack. She's going to set an attack. Dan's going to do the same. He'll spend a gauge for a wild swing. Is that going to be enough? 2 spaces? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have Burning Kick with 5 speed and Koryukin with 6 speed. 7 because of his ability. Man, how does he keep doing it? Okay, he's going to discard the top card of his deck, and his attack has 4 power because it's echoing the 4 power from Assault. So he's got 6 speed with 4 power. Damn, she's going to take 4 more damage, 5 more damage, so she's down to 1. And then this attack doesn't even go off. So Viper's attack gets discarded. Dan's is going into the gauge. And then this gets discarded. It's Dan's. He's going to do a wild swing again because it's worked so well in the past. And then Viper's going to attack with Assault. Okay, so they both wild swung. Dive has 4 speed, while Assault has 5. No, actually they're equal speed because he used his critical ability there. So he is going to go first. He's going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. His attack won't go off, but he's not going to get hit by anything. So this is discarded. Then her attack is going to go off. She closes 2, but she doesn't hit. So this gets discarded. And it's back to Viper again. She will draw 2, I think. Just prepare. And he's just gonna wild swing for it. He's gonna say screw it. He'll spend his last force on a cross. Viper. All right, so we have 4 speed with the dive versus 6 speed with the 7 speed with the cross. Cross is gonna go first. And he's going to deal 3 damage, and that's going to take Viper out. Wow, talk about an underdog story. Dan really hung on there like the whole match. I can't believe that was such low health. All right, so yeah, that was the new Exceed sec that I got. So got some really fun characters out of it. I really like Dan, surprisingly. He was a lot of fun to play as. Vega was pretty cool too. Chun-Li was pretty good. Viper was great too, honestly. I like them all. But yeah, there you go. That is Exceed, the Street Fighter Chun-Li box. Pretty great. Yeah, unfortunately, these boxes are really hard to get, so, you know, it's a great game. You could always just go for the Guilty Gear set. That's a lot easier to get. In fact, I'd recommend just getting the Kai and Soul demo decks from level 99. I think they're still sending them out for free with just paid shipping. So it's like just a pretty small cost to get into the game, but you get a paper mat. But yeah, if you like the game, definitely check out Level 99's website. Check out the Guilty Gear Strive set. It's a really good one. 20 characters, so plenty of replay value in there. And yeah, these ones are so hard to get, but honestly, really glad that I found the Chun-Li box. Alright, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.